we go. Let's see what we have going on here. I don't go live too often, so I'm on my way down to just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, to Murfreesboro. I'm going down for a infinite cash flow master class, a mastermind, and we'll kind of keep you updated on what's going on with that. But right now, I just stopped to get me something here to drink and a little lunch, and now we're going to be back on the road heading down Interstate 70. Got my GPS on so that I don't have to worry about missing a turn. Of course, the GPS didn't know where I was at. It told me to take a right, but I got to take a left to get back on the interstate. And it'll keep beeping in my ear. But all right, now we're heading down to St. Louis direction. So once we get back on the interstate, I'll kind of fill you on what we're going to do in here, what I've been doing, and basically I started looking at apartment complexes and single-family homes many years ago. I actually had a rental house for a little while, but that didn't turn out to be very, very good. You have one renter and they mess the house up, and you have another renter and they don't pay, and all kinds of stuff like that with a single house. You're doing everything. You're buying a house on your credit. So several years ago, I was looking at a 40-unit apartment complex, and I figured out how to underwrite it pretty good, I think, anyway. At least so I thought, anyway. But I looked at it, and it just didn't make money sense. There just was, what this asking was way more than what I thought it was going to be worth. So I didn't do anything on that one, and of course I didn't have the network to do anything a little bit more than that, because I didn't, if it had been a good deal, I didn't know where to go from there. So here a couple of years ago, I went down to Grant Cardone's real estate summit and spent some time down there, and you learn how to underwrite deals, and it took me a while to figure out what's going on, and I finally figured it out, and I got connected in with another group and learned a bit more how to do it, and was able to find a spreadsheet that does a lot of calculations. I was trying to build one as I'm going along, trying to figure it out, and come to find out Michael Blank has a template that you can buy for $150, $200 one-time shot, and then you get access to this spreadsheet that does a lot of stuff for you. And then, of course, I went through and I modified the spreadsheet to do other things I wanted to do, and just kind of expanded on, and some of the things that you learn over time, and through that one group I got connected in with, found out about this spreadsheet. I got invited to a podcast, or not a podcast, but a Zoom call from a guy named Carl Salghetto, and his Infinite Cash Flow is the name of his show. And you're interested, look him up, Infinite Cash Flow. He's all over the place. Join his group. He has a free Zoom call every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Central. It goes for an hour and a half, something like that. And I learned a lot more about how to underwrite deals, what to look for, all that kind of stuff that you need to know. You get connected in, you find out, once you find a deal, what do you do once you find a deal? And I'm learning how to do that. And one of the things that I learned over time is when you look at a deal, how quick can you look at it and see if it's good or not? And that's where we have something's hard on me. My battery level is low. I don't know what it is because my phone's got a 96% charge. So I don't know what's low. But anyway, it thinks something's low, but it's not my phone because I just looked at it when it said first thing, battery's low. You know what? I bet it's my headphones. I got an earbud in. Let me see if I can find my other earbud. That's what's battery is low. It's in the headphones. So let me switch those. I only use one at a time. That way I can hear what's going on at the same time. Just have it in one ear, then I can hear what's going on. I don't like to have both ears plugged while I'm driving because then you can't hear cars and everything else. And so I like to, let's see, what's this? Multi-window closed, okay. I don't know what that one was, but it might have closed my maps. But I know I stay on Interstate 70 for quite a while, so I got time. So basically, what I've learned when I first started, they give me stuff, the terms that only somebody that does multifamily or apartments. Multifamily is what we refer to it, when we're talking about to other underwriters and other investors and stuff like that. They understand what multifamily is, but what multifamily is apartment complexes. And you can have apartment complexes, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. The problem with those, anything 5 and under goes off your credit. So you have to buy it based on what you can afford to buy. Now when you start getting above 5 units, that's when it's considered commercial property, not residential property. And it goes based on the income that the property is generated. So your credit comes out of that. It doesn't hit your credit. Or if you buy too many houses too quick on single families or 4 or less units, then banks will look at, okay, how can you afford this? This is getting expensive. They're going to look at what you have, and they don't look at the income that you're generating. They're just looking to see what you can do. And that's where I like having the larger number of units. And when we're evaluating, you look at different things, and they talk about cap rate, which nobody really understands that until you figure it out. Basically is the cap rate, is basically what it's valued at. And you have your interest rate, and the higher the interest rate is, the higher the cap rate you have. That is what you're going to get based on, if you pay cash for it, what would be your return. And of course, we all get loans on them because nobody wants to buy, thing outright because, then you don't have your money. You got to take all your money invested, or you just do part of it before. So what I've learned from that is, even though you may not have a lot of money to put in a deal, there's a lot of stuff you can do. And, there's different levels of involvement. You have what they call the general partners, which they refer to as a GP for general partner. They're the ones that find the deals, look at the deals, do the due diligence, look at the property, look at the numbers, make sure it matches. They're the ones that put the money up front to run the inspections and everything else. They're the ones that have money that they can lose if they don't go with the deal. Sometimes you go through all that and find out this is not a good deal, so then they back out. So they're the ones that have their money involved in it, that it's at risk. Your LPs, which are your lending partners or your investors, they just put up the money. And all that money that they're going to put up for it goes into an account that if you don't close, they get it all back. So they have nothing to risk until they close on a deal. And then, of course, once the deal is closed, not all deals are, when you know how to underwrite them, that's going to be something that it's a deal that there's a very small chance of it actually going wrong. So we've got it. What Carlos has is what he calls real estate, the Infinite Cash Flow Mastermind, and it's a 2-day event. It's going to be this Friday and Saturday, and this is a Thursday. I'm driving down. I left about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's right about it's about 20 after 12. So I've got about another 6 some hours left to drive. I got a motel. I'm staying in Murfreesboro, and the event's going to be at the airport in Murfreesboro. So, 3 or 4 mile drive, get to the event, and then we're going to learn a whole lot more about it. And in person, spending 2 full days learning from somebody that has millions of dollars worth of assets already, and pushing towards $1 million, goal here pretty soon is have $1 million in assets that he has. So, you want to learn from somebody that is actually doing it and is teaching, and his weekly teaching that he goes through has got a lot of information that you can ask all kinds of questions, and you get to know them. So they know who I am just from the videos on the Zoom calls. So if I do have a good deal that's in what they call their buy box, what a buy box is, that is what properties are you looking for? Are you looking at only A-class properties? Are you looking for those that are B-class properties that you can do some fixing up and then increase the rents that way? You need to know where they're at, as well as what cities are you looking at. Are you looking in the Sun Belt, which is where all the good ones, the Sun Belt states, your Tennessee and Texas and Florida, places that's sunny most of the time. And I guess that's why I call them Sun Belt states. But that's Carlos's my box is A-class properties. He really likes the multi-use ones, which have apartment buildings as well as commercial space, like you can rent out to retails or office spaces, stuff like that, where you sign those leases. Those are really nice. You can really increase your property if you find one that doesn't have a lot of the retail space leased out, because they're just not really marketing it. And then you can get that leased out, or somebody's not really interested in keeping it full. They've owned it for a long time, and it covers the bills. That's all they care. So something like that you can get a good buy on. And we don't buy them unless it's a good deal. So we don't want to get in one of those cases where, okay, this is a risky deal. We might get our money back. We might not get our money back. And the way we like to do it is, you're going to get in the deal. You're going to get a monthly income from the profits, and then sometimes they're paid out monthly, quarterly, depending on how big the deal is. And then in 3 to 5 years, you've increased the value enough that you can borrow enough money to pay back all the investors, and sometimes more. You pay the investors back, they get their money back, and you still own the property. So then you still keep getting your monthly deals, and that's why he calls it infinite cash flow. Because when you look at it, say let's just say you put $1 million in, and just even numbers. It could be 100,000, it could be 10 million, whatever the number is. So you put that in, you're going to get, let's say we're getting 10% back. So out of that $1 million, you're going to get 10% back every year. Let's say in 3 years, the value of the property's increased, because retail and residential apartments or commercial apartments, they're going to increase. They've always increased. So now then, in 3 years, the value of the property is enough that we can borrow that same percentage, whether it be 60%, 70%, 80%, borrow that money, which is enough to pay off the original loan and pay back all the investors all their money. And now you still own the property, because all you do is refinance, because the income from the property says that it's worth that much more. Because commercial properties are based on the income it generates, not comps around the other areas. Now, when you're buying them, you'll look at other properties that are sold and similar to see what they're selling for. But on your house that you own, that is your liability. A lot of people tell it's an asset. It's the bank's asset, but it's your liability because it doesn't generate money for you. So the value of your house is dependent on 100% on what the value of the other houses around you are. What did they sell for? What are they evaluating? So your property may go up even though your income hasn't gone up. but your property value's gone up. So on a commercial property, it's got all to do with how much rent are you collecting versus how much expenses do you have, and that is going to give you the valuation of your property. And there's cap rates to figure in that. There's a whole lot of math involved in that. It's simple math. It's just multiply, divide, and add, subtract. That's all you need to know to run the numbers. Is you're going to add numbers together, you're going to subtract numbers from them, and you're going to multiply them or divide them. So that's it's simple math, but you got to know how to play the math, and that's the part that you learn in a lot of this stuff. So that is kind of what we're going down. We're going to get more detailed into it. There's a couple different levels that go down there for, but I'm going down and I'm going to spend 2 days down there and learn as much as I can and meet the guys I've been seeing on video for well over a year now. There's a lot of information that you can collect from them because they've been doing it and they're doing it every day. And there's a lot of people in there that are just really doing really well. And the biggest thing is I'm going to have another. Well, I think there's only room for like 100 people at the event location. So we're going to have people in there that are going to be investors as well as other people are looking for deals. So then we'll make connections with them. And then once we make connections with them, and then, I'll learn, what are you looking for? What are you areas you're looking into? Are you looking into the Nashville and the surrounding areas around there? Because right now Nashville is really hot. They're doing a lot of building. A lot of big companies are coming in. Nashville area is really growing. So it's a good place to invest. There's other places that are good places to invest too. It's just, where do you want to do that at? And, sitting in the eastern part of Nebraska, I can evaluate deals all over the country. I just want to look at, what deals are, and if I know somebody that's looking for a deal in say like Des Moines, Iowa, well, that's not too far away from it. I can go on to properties. If you're looking in the Lincoln, Nebraska area, or any of a couple of little towns around there that are growing really good, a couple of small places outside of Omaha. Omaha's probably not the best place for it. They're building lots and lots and lots of apartments in Omaha. So I don't know how they're going to support them all. I don't think Omaha's grown that much. But, hey, I haven't really run the numbers too well on there. I just know that it's not where I'm looking. I'd rather look at Lincoln or Papillion or Bellevue in Nebraska. Those are all, half hour, 45 minutes to an hour drive to any of those places, because where I live is between Omaha and Lincoln. So I'm going down. I'll do another one of these and talk about kind of what we're going over, what I can explain without with just talking. I said, the running hours is easier to show you. If you're interested in something like this, let me know. I'll get you a link to go connect up with Carlos. He's the expert on it. I've got stuff going, but that's why I'm coming down here, so I can learn more. And I'm still working on getting my first property under contract. So that's kind of my goal, is to get enough of them underwritten to get one under contract. And some things that I've learned, you've got to do all the work in here. You can't just take what the broker sends you as the offer member OM or their offer memorandum. That just gives all the information. You just can't send it to these guys that do this kind of stuff, because they're not going to look at it. If you don't really put any work in it, then they're not going to look at it, and they're not going to connect you into the deal just for forwarding an email to them. So that's what I'm looking at doing, is getting in and finding a deal, underwriting a deal, walking a property, and then if it's a good deal, then figure out what kind of offer to put into it so it makes sense, for me and everybody else, and then take this presentation, and then you can put together a real quick overview when you're presenting to somebody, you want to do an overview. Where you have here's the basic nuts and bolts. Here's the property. Here's where it's located. Here's where I see the upside. Here's the advantages of that property's location. Here's the problems I see that we can fix in a short period of time, and this is what we anticipate them for. This is what it's going to take for investment. And this is what we're anticipating a return on your money. And then if they want more details, they can go into all the numbers. But if they're not interested at that point, that's what problems sometimes as engineers, we get into the details, and sometimes it's hard because we kind of like the details, because that's what we do as engineers, is we work with details and specific stuff all the time. So I remember not putting my hand in front of my face there, so at least you can kind of see me here. While we're driving here, I want to make sure that I've got my sunglasses on. My regular glasses, they're too big to put these over the top of them, so I have to go back to my old pair, because in a car, your glasses are auto dark, your glasses do not get dark. I haven't had any of them that ever got dark inside the car, so you're constantly squinting and trying to figure out what's going on, and after a while your eyes start bothering you, and especially when you get older, you don't take the light so much into your eyes. So yeah, so I got my sunglasses on, otherwise I'd have them off. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. It's going to be fun this weekend. I'll spend I'll get there tonight, and I'll get to my motel, and then just kind of get settled in and start looking at some more of the properties I've got lined up to look at, and then see if we can get something going. And if I come across a really good deal and it's down here, I've got a couple looking at that's not too far out of Nashville. One place is straight east of Nashville, and the other one is east and a little bit south that I was looking at. And if it comes out pretty good, then also get a hold of a broker and possibly even see if I can walk the property Sunday before I come back, or even Monday if I have to. I'll stay another night somewhere and do that. But yeah, we're going to be pretty busy for Friday and Saturday, and that makes it pretty nice. It's going to be a lot of good information. I know there's going to be, just based on what information I've got from watching his Zoom calls. And then he had a special call just for us going to the mastermind down here. And it was supposed to be an hour long, but it went almost 2 hours. And we didn't even realize that it had been 2 hours. We're just getting so much information and learning so much already. And that's basically, free content that he's giving out. And you can follow him all over the place. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm about halfway down there now. I don't know how much is left. I think my map's closed or something, because I don't see it up on the screen. But so far, I got long ways to go on Interstate 70 before I have to worry about turning off of it, because I think it takes it all the way down. 70, I think, goes all the way to Nashville. And where we're going in Murfreesboro is mostly south of Nashville. So I've got a ways to go. So I'm not too worried about the Google Maps not coming up. But that's what we're gonna do today. And I'll come on and I'll let you know. And, I don't do too many lives on YouTube, but I thought I'd do one of these while I'm driving. Something I stopped to get something to eat, and I started the live. I'm not sure exactly what's going to take to stop it. When I get ready, I'm going to have to pull over to stop it, because I don't know. I don't want to be looking at the phone instead of the road. But it might be real easy to stop when I get ready. So if anybody has any questions, just post them, on the video, on the live video, and I'll take a look at it when I get a chance. Obviously, I can't do it while I'm driving, because I can't read the screen anyway if I wanted to, because my glasses don't allow me to read, the screens like that. So I wouldn't be able to read a comment anyway. So if you're running any questions, or something that you think's kind of interesting, or let me know. while I'm doing a live here, that's not just what I'm about here. I like to underwrite the deals because I like working with spreadsheets to keep track of all the information. Sometimes I get too involved in the spreadsheets, and sometimes not. But depending on how far you take the deal, they have what they call a napkin underwriting, and you basically look at how many units it has and the average rent per month. You take and multiply those together times 12, and that's your annual income. And then you're going to take, because that's the max potential, that's your potential income if all the 100% are rented. Now, most times you're not going to have 100% rented. You're going to be 95 or 90%, depending where you're at. Even though they might be 100% rented, when you look at the rent rolls, you can say, oh, well, this is actually, they're moving out, they're moving out, they're moving out. So you're not 100% rented, but they're currently occupied. So you'll figure like 95%. You're going to take that annual income times, they're going to take 95% of it, and that's going to be your basically your estimated net income. Then you're going to take half of that for expenses. Unless it's a brand new property, you might be running 30, 35%, 40%. An older property might be running higher than 50, but just a rough estimate, take 50%, and that's your net income, and that's what you're going to look to evaluate it. And then remember I talked earlier about cap rate. Now that is what the market is doing, and that's going to be based on your interest rate. So say you have the interest rate's 6%. So you're going to take your cap rate needs to be enough to cover that interest rate. So you go like 6.5 or 7 or whatever you want to do, and take that income, divide it by the cap rate, and that's going to be how much it's valuated at. And then you can look and see versus what they're asking. And if they're asking way more than that, you're either going to have to offer way less because that's the most you want to go with it. There are cases that's different, but that's what you want to look at. Now you know the valuation based on the income, and you don't care what they're asking because they can ask anything you want. They're not going to get it if the numbers don't match this. All your underwriters are going to do the same thing. They're going to get into more detail to find out, that they're saying it's worth more, and they're saying their expense rates are 30%, and they're actually running 45. Or you get in and start looking at the rent rolls, which is basically lists all the units and the rents that they're paying for them when they moved in, so when their lease is up, other things like that. You'll get the names of the person that's leasing it. That's why you sign an NDA, which is non-disclosure agreement, which means that information is for you. You can't tell anybody about it or pass it on unless they sign. They have to sign the NDA because you are getting the person's name and what they're paying for rent. But most time I don't even look at the name. A lot of times I'll just hide that column because that makes no difference. I don't care who it is. All I care is, okay, what is their current rent? What is the market rent for that place? And when's their lease up? Because that's going to determine how quick you can raise rents. Because you're going to raise rents every year. They're not going to stay the same. They're always going to go up because inflation goes up and everything else. So that's what you're going to look at. And I'm going to learn a lot more about this. I can access my spreadsheet on my phone or on my laptop. I brought my laptop down so I can do some properties while I'm down here. But that's just one of those things that you got to have with you. Just one more thing to carry. But that's why I'm driving and not flying, because I wouldn't go take all this if I was flying. So, and it's a 12-hour drive. And by the time you fly, first off, I'm probably going to have to get it'd be a probably 6 o'clock flight. So I'm going to have to get there, if it's 6 o'clock flight, you have to be there 4. And then you're going to sit around, wait for the flight to start, get it started, getting it on, and then fly. Get your luggage checked in. That's why you get there 2 hours before. And then you fly. And then once you get there, then you have to go get your luggage. And then if you're flying to the Nashville airport, because I don't think they have a direct flight from Omaha to Murfreesboro. And then you either have to rent a car and drive the rest of the way, or take another smaller plane to go fly into Murfreesboro at the airport. And you're still going to either get a shuttle to take you to the hotel. Some do and some don't. And then you got to reverse all that. So by the time I probably wouldn't get there any more sooner than what I get by driving. I left at 5 this morning. I made a couple of stops. I'll probably be there. It's a 12-hour drive is what it says if you don't stop. Every time you stop, it increases it. So I'll probably be, 6:30, maybe 7, because if I stop again. Well, I will have to stop again because I'm down to half a tank of gas. But anyway, I'll probably stop here in a little bit and stop the live stream. I've got it sitting on there's a little door on a little area that I have it sitting on. So, because I tried setting up on my dash, it just fall off. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. Not used to talking so much, so I need to get a drink here. So I forget what little town I'm coming down. I don't always pay a lot of attention to it. The town I'm going through is Zambula Drive, Zumbehl Road. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say that one. Zabuhai? I don't know. Some of these names, some of these streets are kind of weird. A motorcycle going by. Don't know if you can hear it on the thing or not, but there's a little motorcycle. Well, not real little, but big enough to drive on the interstate. So yeah, I think it's pretty close to time to stop. I don't like to get down too much below half a tank, just because it's kind of nice to not have to worry about running out of gas. And you get stuck in traffic and you let it get down to really low, and then next thing you know, you have you're running out of gas in the middle of the road if you're stuck. I've had that before. One time went down to Florida and was going down the highway down there, and it comes to complete stop, and we're sitting there. And in Florida, it's hot, so we're sitting in the car, and of course you have the windows rolled down because you can't let the car run too much, and it's getting hot. It's like, okay, finally it started moving. And I don't know what it was, probably an accident or something up there, shut the interstate down, but there's no way to get off. You're just stuck. But sometimes you see some interesting stuff while you're driving. I was going by one semi, and it had those really small kind of dome trailers, probably about big enough for one or maybe two people. Like kind of a twin bed in there. I don't know what else it was. It was really small. You can pull it like behind a small car. I don't know if I want to try and pull it behind this car because it's kind of too small for that. It kind of struggles on some of the hills, maintaining the speed. But for a full-size car, that'd be just perfect. Because you don't want to go with a trailer that's way bigger than what your car is. You don't have a good control over it. When the trailer controls the car, that's not a good deal. Then I was going by and I was in the middle lane, and there's kind of a little traffic. There's a car over the left-hand lane. There was about a car and a half lengths between us, and this Tesla comes in and just kind of cuts right over in front of us in the other lane, and it goes flying up over in another lane and flying around. Shortly after that, I had another Toyota come up. I'm still in the middle lane, come flying up past me, and then whips over in the right-hand lane. Gets behind the car, finally squeezes over, and there was a semi, and a car was about a car and a half lengths behind it, and he just goes right in between the two of them. That's kind of crazy. But that's stuff you expect, and you look out for it, and someone comes flying up, you say, okay, they're gonna cut right over. Just expect it. And you don't get freaked out when they do. You just plan on them doing stupid stuff. Then when I hit Kansas City, when I was coming down, it was real slow traffic. But I hit about 8:30 in the mornings when I went through Kansas City, and that was slow traffic, but got through it. Away we went. So yeah, I'm coming to do another live stream another time here. Traffic's getting kind of busy, and I think I'm down by St. Louis now. I think this is St. Louis.